Yo, what's going on, everybody? GZTV. I gotta kind of hurry up here because I'm heading over to my grandma's here in a little bit. But we have The Walking Dead. We have the second episode of season 10. Not really much going on in the show right now. I'm gonna be honest. I am kind of bored. But let's just get into it. The plot, critical reception, and then we have to talk about Dave closing out season 3. Absolutely amazing finale. You guys will learn about that. So, in the past, Alpha and Lydia struggle to survive on the road. So there's a little bit of a flashback. I can't remember how far it went, like 7 years in the past, maybe. I don't know if they said it actually. The two have learned how to walk among the dead by covering themselves with skin and staying quiet. So this is kind of a tactic they've been using for a while. Lydia is still frightened by the noises, wears earmuffs to muffle the sounds, but panics when a walker knocks them off. And yeah, I mean, she's definitely matured by now, and as has everyone. Everyone has kind of like learned to get used to this. Her mother drags her into a nearby sanitarium where they encounter a hooded man. And at first, this is just like a completely mysterious man. He threatens them at first, but after discovering he and Alpha share similar views on the walkers, allows them to stay the night, and they pretty much form a little group together, I guess. To keep their anonymity, she refers to herself as A and him as B. And obviously, this turns out to be Beta. We kind of know that. And I use subtitles, so it kind of spoiled that for me. We pretty much assumed that was going to be Beta, though. Attempting to become more brave to be like her mother, Lydia covers herself with walker blood and wanders off to practice walking among the dead while Alpha is asleep. I mean, at least she made the effort to be like her mom, but her mom was a piece of shit. Like, we kind of know this. Alpha wakes up and immediately begins looking for Lydia, and she gets really fucking worried, you know. B discovers Alpha in the room, and as they talk, a walker suddenly enters, which Alpha quickly destroys. As B attempts to kill Alpha in a rage, they are interrupted by Lydia, who attempts to convince B to follow Alpha's path. And maybe, like, even form a group, you know, they're kind of talking about that. B collapses by the walker's body in remorse. Alpha, recognizing that the walker must have been someone important to B, offers to take the skin off the walker and give it to B as a mask to wear. And maybe that kind of shows a little bit of like their motivation as to why they wear the walker skins. It's like people they like want to remember forever. And it's kind of fucked up they're wearing their mask. But like that's kind of a cool little backstory we learn. So in the present, Alpha orders Beta to lead a team of Whisperers to gather a herd of walkers to pretty much terrorize, you know, all the other people. Among the team is Frances, the mother of the baby that was abandoned outside of Hilltop, as well as Frances' sister, and we kind of learn a little bit more about these characters, and they play a little bit of a bigger role. After gathering walkers, Frances hallucinates hearing a baby crying nearby and panics, causing the walkers to turn on them, and yeah, she pretty much is the only one to die out of it. Beta is able to kill the walkers, but assures Frances that there will be consequences, and they return to their camp. Well, she gets killed eventually, so yeah, not in that situation, but it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're pretty much betraying us by doing that and setting us up for failure. Upon returning, Frances is taken to a secluded area to meet with Alpha. Expecting punishment, Frances cries and repents, promising to never show weakness again, and that's obviously like their whole thing with their group, their motto, don't be weak, you know. Alpha decides to spare her of punishment, causing Beta, who is expecting Frances to be executed, to begin questioning Alpha's leadership. And this is kind of like the first time that's really happened between Beta and Alpha in the relationship, because this whole time Beta has pretty much been like really compliant. But I mean, she spared her this one time. I don't know. And Beta expected her to literally die from this. Like, I mean, that's the worst thing you could do as a Whisperer, is to like pretty much rat them out to the walkers. She justifies sparing Frances by saying she understands the loss of a child, falsely claiming to have killed Lydia during their last encounter. She's fucking wrong, because Lydia is still with the group. The other group. The Whisperers continue their attempts at gathering more walkers until a distant explosion caused by a crashing satellite scatters them and pretty much fucks up their whole progress. While attempting to regroup the scattered walkers, Frances sees a walker with a baby carrier, reminding her that Alpha had ordered her to bring her son to Hilltop. With newfound anger towards Alpha, Francis jumps onto Alpha's back and starts screaming, attracting the horde towards them like she's had a fucking enough of Alpha. And honestly, as an audience, you kind of fucking hate Alpha too. Like this whole "don't be weak" mentality. You can't be have emotions. Like what the fuck is the point of it? Like being alive if you don't feel anything. Like what the hell is your problem? Like, you know what I mean? Francis's sister drags Alpha to safety and pushes Francis into the herd of walkers, killing her. Like, that's how much loyalty her sister has towards Alpha. She's willing to literally get her killed. This impresses Alpha, who thanks her for her sacrifice and later grants her the title of Gamma, so she's pretty much like one of the leaders of the group. So that's really interesting to see. And hopefully Gamma will have some more moments in the series. I love that. The following morning, Alpha leaves the rest of the Whisperers and heads to the site of one of their old camps. Beta secretly follows her and discovers that she has set up a small shrine to Lydia. When he demands an explanation, Alpha breaks down into tears and admits that Lydia is still alive and that she's been lying, and Beta's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? Alpha is ashamed at having shown weakness, but Beta promises to keep her secrets from the rest of the Whisperers, as they have a good relationship with each other. Alpha then destroys the shrine and asserts they will soon attack the communities, which Beta had been requesting ever since their last conflict, and they've kind of been like in the shadows, but like now they're planning on like full on attacking these people. She then repeats the Whisperer's code together with Beta. Later, she spots Carol from across the ravine, and that's where we left off from last episode, but they're just showing at all the in-between stuff. I mean, this show has enough runtime that like they can afford this, but this episode's pretty good. I mean, 94%, 7.4 out of 10, 17 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. While heavy on flashbacks, We Are the End of the World unveils a dark, thoughtfully constructed exploration of the Whisperer's origins, and I think that was a really cool thing to add. 4 out of 5 on Den of Geek. The Walking Dead hasn't always done a good job of making villains well-rounded characters, but with the Whisperers, Angela Kang and company is doing a solid job of turning what would otherwise be a group of masked psychopaths into a Shakespearean drama company of backstabbers and schemers. Nikatir's direction, the two storylines of flashback and present, how they were matched together, was really cool. It's a very strong character building episode for our new villains. The show has become so much better in the past 2 seasons, and this is yet another great example of Angela Kang's leadership totally transforming The Walking Dead into truly captivating television once again. C+ on IndieWire. Those hoping for the season to gain a little more narrative momentum after last episode's Pokey premiere will be disappointed. I mean, there's not as much momentum in this episode, but it's definitely character building, and that's necessary. I gotta be on the AV Club. I mean, the flashbacks and backstory were kind of unnecessary, but, Samantha Morton's performance was excellent. And Samantha Morton, I'm pretty sure, is Alpha, so. Yeah, I mean, I like the backstory and the flashback. You can have a little bit of filler episode when you have this much runtime in your series. So leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We got to talk about Dave, and then I got to get the hell out of here. I'm going to be enjoying some time over at my grandma's house. So sometime today, maybe get some 2K gameplays. I'm really tempted to spend $40 on this game. Like, really, I am. To get that LeBron. I don't know. We'll see. I kind of want to just... man...